This is the third session of week 3, and today was a struggle. I was up in Sheffield for the day. I had a CPD day on communication when you coach, so that was on internal cues versus external cues, constraints, analogies, all that kind of stuff. So, a really interesting day with Nick Winkelman. But yeah, this session was a struggle. I had a 3.5 hour drive up the night before, then not the best night's sleep, and then was just feeling a bit mentally tired from all of the theory and stuff we'd gone through on that day. So I went into the gym and just planned to do my 2 key lists for the day, which were box squats and bench press. So I recorded that first set from the front, just because I've been getting this knee pain and I wanted to see what my knees were doing when I was squatting. And you get these two schools of thought when it comes to squat technique, and I'm going to come back to this at the end of the video. But some people cue chest up, knees out, like the Squat University, the guy, whatever his name is, Aaron Horschig, and then you get other people that say that's not a good way to squat and you should push onto your midfoot, push your knees forward more, keep your ribs down. And for me, that's a much better way to squat. But for whatever reason, I say whatever reason, I was just trying to play around with different techniques to try and get rid of this knee pain I've been getting. So on these sets, I was really thinking about keeping my chest up and pushing my knees out. And I wasn't getting any knee pain, but I was feeling these in my lower back a lot. And I could really feel my lower back working. So for me, when I think about chest up, I end up arching my lower back more. And then because that shortens it, I can just feel my lower back working all the time. And I don't really feel these in my legs at all. It's more of a lower back exercise. But I kept the weight a little bit lighter and just got my 4 working sets in. So I ended up doing 4 sets of 8 on 160. 150? Yeah, 150, not 160. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling up for this session. But I probably should have just not bothered training. But yeah, there we go. So after this, I felt like my legs hadn't really got much work. So I did a bit of leg press. And I've used this leg press once before. And it's one of those ones that comes with a slight arc. And it felt phenomenal. I could really feel my glutes and quads working hard. And I felt like I could really push it without aggravating my knee. I don't know what it is. I think it's because it comes on a curve. It feels like it gives my femur just a lot of room to articulate better as I come down. And obviously as it comes on an arc, it feels like you get a bigger moment arm on the quad, so it really hammers your quad as well. But if I had one of these leg presses in the gym that I train in, I'd use it all the time. But yeah, I've only used it once before, which was on a training camp with the rowing team out in Sierra Nevada. But yeah, it feels really good. But this got me thinking, like, I can really feel my leg working on this, and I would love this feeling when I squat. And that got me thinking about the differences. So the main difference between a leg press and a squat, obviously it's still a squat pattern, you're getting hip and knee flexion, but the main difference is it removes your lower back from it. And as I was thinking about all this stuff as I was doing it, so I was thinking about my lower back when I was doing those box squats, really being able to feel it. And that was because I'm arching my lower back, whereas on this you can keep your lower back pressed into the pad and keep it more neutral, even if slightly flexed. And these felt really good. And I wasn't thinking about pushing my knees out or anything like that. I was just bringing the weight down, pushing it back up. And I went into this session wanting to not think about too many internal cues, because all the theory we covered that morning was about how people perform better when their focus of attention is external from their own body. And then going back to the differences between this and the squat, obviously here you can put your feet as high as you need to. So if you are missing dorsiflexion or ankle range of motion, you can get around that by just putting your feet higher. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I feel like, I know my dorsiflexion on my right ankle is better than my left, and I think that leads to me twisting to my left when I do squat sometimes. So my strategy now for getting rid of this knee pain is first and foremost focus on getting a really good brace, and also improving my left ankle dorsiflexion. And I think because I'm missing that, I'm also missing hip internal rotation on my left. So if you can't dorsiflex properly, you can't pronate, and then you can't internally rotate your femur. So those links up that left-hand side, and then just starting with a proper exhale to get my ribs down, get my pelvis in neutral position, and then working on that mobility alongside of it, and I'm really, really confident that that's going to get rid of my knee pain. So my second key lift of the day was that bench press, and I was supposed to do my top set on 125, but it was feeling like it just wasn't there today. So I worked up to 110, and that was probably like an RPE 9. So I left it at that one set and just did some machine seated chest press and chest supported rows, and then I went back to trying these squats. So you can see here, like my depth is a lot better, and all I'm doing is thinking of getting rid of all of my air before I squat down. So that's dropping my ribs down, getting them stacked properly over my pelvis, and then just thinking about pushing my knees forward, letting myself pronate on that left hand side and get my knees as far forward as I can. And I think I only went up to 80 for sets of 10. But yeah, this felt good. I wasn't feeling my knee at all, and I'm confident that I'm going to be able to progress my squat like this, but I'm just going to have to take 2-3 steps back to move forwards again, because on my last heavy squat day I did 185 for my top single, and I just don't think I'd be able to maintain this technique with that weight at the moment. So it's probably put me a good 5-6 weeks behind where I thought I'd be at this point in terms of my progress to getting 220, but yeah, it's going to be a long journey anyway, so I feel like I'll be able to train more consistently using this technique. So yeah, that was today. Tired session, a little bit frustrating, but felt like I made some good steps forward in terms of understanding what's causing my knee pain and improving my squat technique. As always, thank you again for watching, and see you in the next one.